Daily Nourishment, episode 5. Today's just going to be a quick one. I actually came across this really interesting article that I'm going to leave below. Maybe it wasn't an article, it was more of an idea presented by Vox, who does some great work. And it was basically talking about how astronauts think that we should send every world leader to the International Space Station, right? And I thought, I think as everyone else is thinking, why would we do that? Why would we spend all that money? But basically, the idea was that when you see Earth from the space station, it changes your character as a person. It makes you gain more of an appreciation for the entire world, and like makes you think about the planet as a whole as more of a team instead of like an individual mindset. And this had me thinking about how what experiences that cooks have that can shape their mindset as a whole. So I've thought of a couple different events that can happen. The first event I think that can happen is going into a kitchen for the first time. I think every time you go into a kitchen, the first time you've ever gone into a kitchen, I want you all to think back to that first time. It was probably a lot more chaotic than you'd imagine. There's probably a lot of people running around and you had no idea what they were all doing. There's probably somebody really working really hard. You probably saw one person and you kind of fixated on them. They were probably running around, cutting a whole lot, moving around bowls. Maybe they were frying someone. Maybe you looked at someone who was running the pass. You saw them moving all the tickets around. But I think that first experience in there makes you really think. Like how I would put it at is, if you look at the inside of a clock, you see all of these pieces fitting together and you see them slowly turning, but you don't exactly know how it works, right? But I think there's an innate desire to understand how the system works and how you as a cook would fit into the system. Another thing that I think really changes your outlook as a chef is when you eat at a nice restaurant for the first time. And I don't mean nice as in like a steakhouse, I mean like a Michelin star restaurant, somewhere where it fully changes your idea of what service is, where every time you get up from your seat to go to the bathroom, you come back and your napkin is folded. For every course, there's a different set of cutlery. Every course tells its own story. Every course, you'd be thinking, oh my God, this is incredible. And it's got you thinking about, how did they even come up with this? How did these ideas form together? I never would have thought about pairing something like maybe pine needles with apple. I never would have thought of that pairing. I never would have thought of this. I think a really great meal should leave you with more questions than answers. It should be making you have a desire to learn more, just like the previous example. The whole idea of reframing how you think of things is it unlocks a new level of curiosity within you. I think of learning as being something where you're learning, you're up and up, right? And it's, a lot of progress all at once. And you taper off to a certain point where if I put in an hour now, I'm not learning as much as I was when I didn't know anything. But I think that there's a certain point where you feel like you've learned everything, you feel like you're plateauing, and then you need something, an event that I just described that really blows your perception of everything. And then that starts off a reaction of you're going back up. You're back up to that same pace of learning. When I first went to a really nice restaurant, I already thought I knew everything about cooking. I thought, not much I can improve on. I already understand everything. When I went to that first really nice meal, it fully changed my perception of how I cooked. I instead was looking at a more holistic picture. I was looking at, how can I theme a whole menu around this concept? How can I bring this concept to other people, like to other coworkers, and have them believe in my idea too? The best chefs are the people who can sell their ideas so well that their cooks embody those ideas and their cooks become those ideas. I want to know, what are some other experiences you think that really shape a cook like this? What's an experience you've had that's really shaped you as to the person you are today? I think a more in-depth explanation of this could be talking about this effect, and could be talking with different people who maybe are outside of cooking. Maybe these events even have impacts to people who are outside of cooking. Maybe if you know someone who has a story of they walked into a kitchen and snap, and that turned them into a cook. Just seeing how it works. These are all great stories that are all worth exploring. But that's your daily nourishment for the day. I hope you five away to make the day really good. You know it was coming. I was just trying to think of how to slip that cheesy title joke in there. But I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode of Daily Nourishment.